Thank you for joining me today at A Touch of Blue Studio with Drawing with Grandma. Today we're going to continue some sketchbook studies, but trying to go back to the basics of drawing objects in light. So here we have two fruits that were actually made by a circle first, and then the unique shape was sketched out of that. And when you use the basic circle to create your shapes, it's important to study how light affects it. So here we have another object that starts with a circle. And so when light hits a circle, it becomes a sphere, and it has the illusion of three-dimensional spatial quality. So let's just watch this happen so that you can understand it a little bit better. We're going to create a sphere, a circle, first, and then we're going to use the light source, which is going to be coming from the left upper side. So I'm going to put an arrow up here that shows you the direction that the light is coming from. So I don't want to make it too dark because I want to be able to erase it later. So let's begin. So here we have our sphere, or I should say circle, and with the creation of the effects of shading and pencil techniques and dark and light variations, we will create values. And so I'm starting with a kind of a medium tone throughout the whole structure. And then I want to be able to look at the path of the light in order to establish the placement of the cast shadow. So I give it a little bit of shape. I don't want a strong outline because I want to create the illusion of three-dimensional appearances with the shading, not with a line that outlines it. So wherever the light is not hitting is going to be in shadow. So we want to lay in the medium to dark shadows first, and then have it fade into the lighter values as we move closer to the light. A cast shadow underneath an object where the light is hitting least of all is going to be the darkest. So right under the object and around that moon-shaped form of the sphere is going to be getting the least light. So here we have the basic tones. I'm going to strengthen the cast shadow right under the object, and then as it moves out, it's going to fade into a lighter value. The edges of a cast shadow will get softer as it moves out. And you can see that there's a light area right in between that moon shape of the darkest area and the edge of the cast shadow on the sphere. That is called the reflected light because the light bounces off the surface of the table and it reflects into the object. So by using these pencil techniques and values with your pencil or with some other tools or even paint, you create the illusion of a three-dimensional object. I'm going to put a pencil line there where the table is established, and then to try to add a little bit of environment to this object. But we're going to make it really dark in the background. Make sure we keep that nice soft separation between the background and the object. And that'll help emphasize the light source a little bit. Use the blender to just reshape it all. And this helps to do these little studies just to make sure that when you're doing other object, that you understand how light affects it when it hits it. And it's just a good sketchbook study. I'm going to do the same with the cast shadow and fade it out as it moves away from the object. So we've created a sphere out of a circle. A circle is the outer edge, and then by using these pencil techniques, we are creating the illusion of a three-dimensional object, so a circle becomes a sphere. We can use the eraser to get rid of some of the smudges, but also to emphasize where the light might be hitting strongest. Now we're going to do another study, and I've made another circle, and I'm going to draw a point there in the very center. And I'm not taking time to measure these divisions. I just want it to be a quick study just to show you how we can create another illusion. And as you're looking at this, try to think of a straw hat that we're looking at from the very top. So right now, all it looks like is a circle with lines through it. It looks like a geometric shape, but these divisions will help to create the illusion of the hat coming towards you in space. So I'm going to do the bottom one the darkest, and then I'm going to move gradually a little lighter as we move toward the top. So the light is coming from the top. That lightest shape will be the very top one. And you can take more time on this study to make it a little bit more effective, but I just want to kind of quickly show you how you can apply this study of values in your sketchbook to create this three-dimensional illusion. Okay, so we're going to use our smudger. We're going to make sure that that bottom one is the darkest. The two on the left and right will be the next darkest, and then gradually go lighter as we go higher. We're going to emphasize how the light is hitting. We're going to lighten the top where the light is hitting strongest. We can add some little flair there to make it look a little bit more like a straw hat, some little straggly pieces of straw. I'm going to add some circular lines just to help with the illusion. They're not perfect. You may want to spend more time with this, and it's really kind of a fun little study. Okay. We can actually add some lines to help with the illusion if you want. Okay, we're going to do another study now of actually a piece of fruit, an orange, and we are going to start with the circle again. But this time we're going to have the light coming from the right upper side instead of the left, like we did with the circle into a sphere. So the light is hitting strongest on the right side, and I'm just going to quickly draw the basic shapes. The moon-shaped shadow, which is called the body shadow, is going to be on the left. We're going to let that little reflected light show. We're going to create the cast shadow shape, fade it out a little bit, and then add our value range. So just another quick study. I think we will darken some of these areas where the light is hitting the least, and it'll add more contrast and interest to the whole drawing. The orange has a little bit of shape in the skin. And then I think underneath we need a little bit stronger of an edge where the orange meets the top of the table. So let's darken that. And that helps to plant it there on the table, give it some foundation and some more form. So that's it. You can do that in 3 minutes. Just a quick study. And then you can do them with the light coming from different directions and to create that illusion. I think I'll darken right under that sphere a little bit. Okay. And a couple other fun studies will be 2 types of drops. This one is a drop of paint that's laying on the table. And we're going to give it a little bit of value. I'm going to create the highlight, a little bit of color in there. Make sure that we keep that edge nice and light. Then the cast shadow is there on the table. So we've got this 3D illusion. You can do this study in 1 minute. And then this next drop is actually falling from the sky. It's like a raindrop on this one, and it's going to be in the air. And then we're going to have a little shadow because it's falling to the table, and we see a little bit of a cast shadow as it's falling. So those little studies are helpful just to kind of create the forms that you're trying to get by studying the light and how it affects different objects in different situations. So continue studying in your sketchbook, practicing, and thank you for watching these little studies, and I hope they are helpful to you. Thank you for joining me today at A Touch of Blue Studio with Drawing and Painting with Grandma.